You won't believe what happened after JIN-WOO gained an army of shadows and became practically a living god. He was going with Jinro to the demon castle, but this time it wasn't the same situation as before. He was countless times stronger, and with that came a mission that would make anyone's hair stand on end: defeating the demon monarch. Along the way, bizarre creatures appeared, like some sinister chupacabras. JIN-WOO left the Orb of Greed with Tusk, because if Tusk was already powerful before, now with 100% more, imagine. Without wasting time, he launched a brutal fireball that obliterated a titan and everything in its path. Meanwhile, Jinro's father was in the hospital, sleeping for 2 days, and the doctors started talking about something called the eternal sleep disease, the same one that took JIN-WOO's mother out of the picture. But wait, it only gets worse. Meanwhile, back in Japan, hunters spotted a gigantic flying ant. Back at the castle, his ability to store shadows was incredibly increased, and he even lamented not being able to extract the shadows from the demons, because with that he would have a gigantic army. He divided his soldiers into 6 teams, ordering them to eliminate any enemy and report when they found permission to enter the next floor. But something strange happened. His mana was rapidly depleting. That's when he discovered that some furious knights were even eliminating his generals. Then it was time for Dad to take action. A knight noticed his presence and advanced, but JIN-WOO dodged all the blows as if they were nothing and threw the guy far away. 2 others tried to grab him from behind, sliced. When he reached the captain of the knights, he even wondered if monsters felt fear. And now he was sure they did. He was about to finish off that night when he heard a thin voice pleading for mercy. It was an elf girl begging for her life. JIN-WOO said she attacked his soldiers and now she wanted mercy. She replied that she was only following orders to defend the area from wretches like him. When he turned his back to leave, she tried to trick him with a sword from behind, but hit Tusk's shield directly. He couldn't believe it. He asked if she had chicken poop for brains, and she started humiliating herself, apologizing again. Then he, curious as always, asked if she could get the entry permit, and she said that her family protected that permit, but he wanted to know if he could really trust her, and she swore on her life that she wasn't lying. Then he said, if you get the license, you don't need to hurt yourself. After that, he wanted to know who she was. She said she was Princess Exel of the Rajir clan, but he wasn't even interested in that. He asked if she heard voices in her head telling her to kill humans. She said no, but that she heard a voice telling her to protect that place since they arrived. She explained that they came from the demon world and were preparing for a war so brutal that all the demons needed to unite. But before she could continue, another voice said that he had exceeded the information limit, and the conversation was interrupted. The princess almost fainted. Meanwhile, at the Hunters Association, the recordings showed that 294 civilians had been killed and 6 hunters who tried to help had also become statistics. The attacked island was 150 km from Jeju Island, which meant one thing. If those ants could fly that far, the whole world was in danger. South Korea didn't have enough hunters, and they would have to ask neighboring countries for help. In the demonic castle, the elf apologized for fainting and said that her family's castle was right next door. When they arrived, her father looked at JIN-WOO with a, "Who is this monster?" Look, the elf said he was a guest, but the king started ordering the knights to cut his throat. JIN-WOO explained that he only wanted permission to enter and would leave in peace. The king then remembered who he was, the man who killed Vulcan and Mitos with ease, and realized that there was no way to defeat this guy. So he handed over the permission and sent him away. But JIN-WOO, as always, said he would also take his daughter. Before the king had a fit, he explained that he needed her to find the other permissions. He promised that he would protect her with his own life, and with great difficulty the king let her go. Outside, JIN-WOO was defeating several demon knights, and he noticed that Igris and the tank were getting stronger and stronger. The princess warned that the upper floors were full of terrible monsters, much worse than anything he had ever faced. But he just said, "Relax, none of these nobles are a match for me." The princess then asked why he let her family live. He said it was because he liked her, and, of course, her heart almost jumped out of her chest. He said she could go home because he only wanted the licenses, since the monsters were going to get stronger. She was sad, thinking she was no longer useful, but he said she had already done more than enough. She then begged to go with him, because she wanted to see the outcome of the battle with her own eyes. And JIN-WOO had no choice. He told her not to stay behind, and she wasn't lying. JIN-WOO himself admitted the battles were 90 times harder than before, but that was never a problem for him. One by one, the monsters that appeared in their path were dragged across the floor as if they were rag dolls, and each floor made it clear that the top of that castle held something far worse. Meanwhile, in the Hunters Guild building, Four Eyes and the Hunter Cha received an urgent alert from the association. The mutant ants were approaching, and they needed to assemble the elite team. In addition to them, other rank S hunters were being summoned, including the leader of one of the strongest guilds in Asia. Back at the Demon Castle, JIN-WOO and the princess finally reached the 100th and final floor, but as soon as the elf opened her mouth to say that there was no one there, the ground trembled. A roar pierced the walls. A colossal dragon emerged from the heavens, spitting lightning. At its summit was none other than Baran himself, the Demon King. Even JIN-WOO wasn't sure if he could defeat him. The atmosphere was apocalyptic. The enemy could fly, summon mass demons, and even unleash lightning bolts that paralyzed enemies. JIN-WOO didn't hesitate. He summoned his shadow army, which descended upon the battlefield. Tusk unleashed a tsunami of fire that incinerated hundreds of enemies. The princess watched everything, unsure which side to fight on, her king or the hero who had saved her life. The Demon King counterattacked with a devastating attack, destroying a large part of the shadow army. The princess was about to be the next victim, but JIN-WOO appeared in time, in the most epic style possible, saving her. He realized that the lightning bolts weren't normal. They paralyzed and drained mana, so he activated his stealth mode and tried to cut off the dragon's wings. But Baran blocked and threw him to the ground with brutal force. JIN-WOO rolled, stood up, and summoned Tusk, who, with the Orb of Greed, managed to withstand the king's power. It was now or never. He lunged forward, pierced Baran's arm, and his soldiers seized the opening. But the demon unleashed an area attack that swept across the entire field, destroying the remaining shadows and draining all of JIN-WOO's mana. Even so, he didn't back down. He fought alone. For the first time, he faced an enemy, stronger than himself. His daggers flew. He took a punch so powerful it took his breath away. But he clung to the demon and, with the Dominator's touch, managed to immobilize Baran. That's when the princess, even without strength, threw a sword. It barely scratched the enemy, but it was enough to distract him for a second. And that was enough. JIN-WOO activated his final strength and delivered a meteor punch that ripped the Demon King's head off. The first head he ripped off with his bare hands without using the dagger. The system notified, Demon Monarch defeated. And the princess ran to him, crying. But JIN-WOO, with no time for romance, told her to inform her father that the Rajir clan was now the greatest clan in hell. She laughed, moved, and corrected him. It was the Raids clan, not Rajir. JIN-WOO could hardly celebrate. He had received the purified blood of the Demon King, and, with it, he could finally create the long-awaited Elixir of Life. His last chance to save his mother. But there was a problem. The success rate of the creation depended on his level of intelligence. Still, he trusted the system, and managed to create 6 perfect potions. Now all that remained was to know, would it work? JIN-WOO wasted no time. He switched places with one of his shadows positioned near the hospital and appeared in a discreet alley in his city. From there, he summoned Kaisel, his new dark dragon, for a quick flight to the hospital. He was more nervous than ever. Upon arriving, he entered the silent room where his mother had slept for years. He stood there, observing. He thought about everything that had happened. He remembered the day she fell ill, the promises he made, and the fear that it would all be in vain. He took out the bottle of the Elixir of Life. He opened it carefully, and hesitantly he gave it to his mother to drink. For a moment, nothing happened, but then, slowly, the burn mark on her neck disappeared. The wrinkles softened. She looked rejuvenated, and suddenly her eyes opened. Confused, she asked, "JIN-WOO, how long have I been asleep?" He held back tears and replied, 4 years, mother." You were asleep for 4 years. She tried to sit up. She was healthy, strong, alive. She thanked her son for everything. She said he looked different, stronger, more mature. And she asked what had happened during all that time. But JIN-WOO could only cry, relieved. The next day, doctors and specialists were perplexed. No one with the eternal sleep disease had ever woken up before. Everyone wanted to know how JIN-WOO did it, but he didn't say anything. He only knew that for the first time in a long time, everything seemed peaceful. But peace never lasts long. The ants were coming, and the next war would be even bigger. And if you enjoy anime as much as I do, then this channel is the place for you. We're always bringing you videos with trivia, behind-the-scenes stories, crazy theories, analyses, rankings, and everything that involves this universe that we love. So if you're not subscribed yet, take advantage now. Click the subscribe button, activate the bell so you don't miss any content, and come be a part of this ever-growing community. Here you'll never run out of something new to watch, discuss, and fall in love with again with each character, each plot, and each detail of the anime. Thank you so much for watching this far, really. Your presence here makes all the difference. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.